last class, we had discussed what 8 different types of schemes or mutual funds under the category based on investment objective. The ninth one is money market mutual funds. These are highly liquid and safe securities. They are under the guidance of RBI. They put their money in money market instruments like commercial bill, certificate of deposit, commercial paper, and treasury bills. Now I'm sure all of you have heard about these concepts, all the 4 different types of instruments, and even know the meaning. Correct? Now here we are talking about mutual fund, that too money market mutual fund. That means this particular scheme aims at making sure the investment is highly liquid and safe. Okay, the very objective over here is highly liquid and safe securities. What do you mean by liquidity? You remember we learned about it in the first chapter. Liquidity aspect, profitability aspect, correct? There we learned liquidity is what? Easily convertible into cash without much difficulty. Okay, easily convertible into liquid cash, and investment can be converted into cash quickly. That's called as liquidity. So this particular investment called as money market mutual fund, the investments here are put into those areas such as commercial bills, certificate of deposits, commercial paper, treasury bills. Now you know commercial bills arise out of what? They arise out of credit transaction or credit sales, correct? Bills receivable, bills payable, those are called as commercial bills. What is certificate of deposit? This is another way of investing in a short term investment, and this instrument is issued by whom? Banks, called commercial. Banks can issue a certificate of deposit, a lump sum amount you can deposit and earn interest on the same. What is commercial paper? It is issued by bank. It is issued by whom? Industries or companies or firms, okay, that have been registered by the Companies Act. They can issue commercial paper. It is another source of capital or short term funds for the company. Treasury bills, as the name itself says, it is issued by the RBI on behalf of Government of India. All these 4 category of money market instruments focus on providing highly liquid and safe security. It is a short term investment, that is less than 1 year. That is the time period for these investments or instruments to mature. Is that clear? So that's the last category under the last type under the category mutual funds by the investment objective. Is that clear to all of you? Third category is based on geography, domestic funds. Schemes launched with a view to mobilize the savings of the citizens of the country. So as the name itself says, based on geography, that means a physical location. Anything within a country's borders, that will come under domestic funds. Anything beyond a country's respective borders will qualify as offshore schemes. So domestic funds means any investment that you make within the borders of your home country, any kind of investments, that will be called as mobilizing the savings of citizens. Because you belong to that particular country, you are called as a citizen of the country. Second type, offshore schemes. These are also called as international schemes. They invest in international markets. These schemes invest in equities of a foreign country or a fixed income secure. So whatever thus far we have studied, right, income funds or gilt funds or other kinds of funds in the second category, same applies here, only that it does not belong to Indian companies or within our country companies or investment avenue. All these investment goes what? Offshore or international schemes. They invest in international market. They invest in equity only. They invest in fixed income securities called as what? Debenture or bond. But they do not operate in our country. They operate in a foreign market. That's why the name offshore schemes. So any investment you as an investor, when you purchase the equity of a foreign company, when you purchase the invest in a scheme of a foreign market, all those comes under this offshore scheme. Is that clear? With this, we complete 3 different categories of mutual fund, classification of mutual fund based on operation, based on objective, and based on geography. Next up, the last short topic on this chapter is payment banks. The main purpose of setting up the payment bank is to enhance financial inclusion by providing payments or remittance services. Payment banks is an Indian new model of banks conceptualized by Reserve Bank of India. These banks can accept a restricted deposit which is currently limited to rupees 1 lakh per customer and may be increased further. These banks cannot issue loans or credit cards. Now today that we have, thanks to technology and thanks that RBI has allowed and sanctioned the operation of payment banks in India, today that we have Jio payment banks, Airtel payment banks, and other available payment banks in the at our reach, those are called as payment banks. Why is it included or created or established? Notice that first line, to enhance financial inclusion. Okay, financial inclusion means that all of them, right, in India, if I say a particular city, locality, all of them must be able to have a open a bank account, learn to know how to operate that account, make their money all on the on the phone. You can track your details on the phone, send money or through the phone, or receive money through a phone app, right? Make your bills payment, do the gas booking or ticket booking, right? Everything is done at one stop app. Okay, that's called as payment banks. Understood? Now now for major purpose, before this payment bank, for everything we used to use check, or we used to go to the ATM and withdraw cash. There was a high possibility of losing the money that we have in our purses, or that if we forget the pin of the ATM card, again there's no use of having that ATM card, right, unless you renew your pin or reset your new pin. So with all these limitations with the traditional system, we have or the RBI has introduced called as payment banks. The very purpose is to what? Enhance financial inclusion, so that everybody can access. It's not just business people, it's not just people who are having a trading business can access to bank and technology, but even your day-to-day bills such as gas bill or paper bill, everything can be paid during using this particular application. Now what are the features of this bank? Now banks can accept the unrestricted deposit. What is the maximum per customer? 1 lakh rupees. Now this might be increased in the further, that's what RBI says, but the condition is these payment banks can only accept money from the public, but they cannot lend loan. What does commercial bank do? It accepts deposit also and lends loans also. It does both. But payment banks does only one side of the transaction, only accepting deposit. It cannot lend loans or issue credit cards. Can it issue debit card? Yes, but not credit card. Got it? Let's just look at the few of the features of payment banks. So as I told, they will only accept the money and the limit is fixed, which means 1 lakh from one individual customer. Second, they will be entitled to issue ATM or debit cards to their customers but cannot issue credit card. As I told, you can only receive the deposit and provide ATM or debit cards, but payment banks are prohibited, or the permission is yet to be given from the RBI, so that payment bank can lend loans or even lend credit cards. Number 3, payment banks must pay interest at the rate notified by the RBI. Since it is taking deposit, you just cannot keep the money idle, correct? You need to pay interest on those deposit as notified by the RBI. Payment banks cannot provide loans or lending services. We have already discussed that. The deposit up to rupees 1 lakh is insured by Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, same as in a bank account. Now, with what confidence or security that we go open a bank account in a proper commercial bank, let's say Syndicate, Vijaya Bank or Canara Bank, etc. Likewise, our deposits are guaranteed or insured by DICGC institution. What does that stand for? Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. So this corporation guarantees that our deposit is going to be safe and secure in the hands of payment banks. Is that clear? Sixth, payment banks cannot involve in any kind of credit risk and can only invest in less than 1 year G securities mean government securities or treasury bills. I just explained to you what is treasury bill, correct? Now I told payment banks can accept deposit. Now what does payment bank do with those deposits? It can only invest in what? Less than 1 year government securities and treasury bills. The only thing that less than 1 year security is treasury bills. So any government securities where the time period is less than 1 year, in such investment avenues, payment banks can invest all these deposit amount into it. Okay, that's why it says it cannot involve in any kind of credit risk. Can payment bank use that money to invest in mutual fund? No. Invest in LIC? No. Or can it invest in debentures or bonds? Gold? No. Absolutely restricted. It can only invest something which is government securities and it is less than 1 year of time period. Point 7. Payment banks will have to maintain cash reserve ratio with the RBI as other commercial banks do. Now for CRR, I have already discussed with you. In commercial banks, when I taught you about various bank rates, CRR, SLR, repo, reverse repo, etc. There I have explained to you what is cash reserve ratio. Go back and check it. So here, as commercial banks also maintain CRR, that is cash reserve ratio of percentage of total deposit, payment banks will also have to follow it up. Is that clear? These are the 7 different features of payment banks. Now here are the 6 payment banks of India that RBI, Reserve Bank of India, has licensed or given permission. So we have Airtel Payments Bank, Fino Payments Bank, NSDL, Jio, Paytm and India Post Payment Banks. So these are all legal or these are all given license to run the payment bank by the RBI itself. So with this topic, we complete our unit number 4 under IFM, non-banking financial institutions. Okay, so next class we'll be moving on to the 5th unit.